This weekend, hundreds of thousands of fans will flock to the ballpark. America's pastime, baseball is a simple game at its core, played by millions, from kids all the way to the national stage. American as apple pie, baseball's not just woven into American culture, it's also been a driving force in cultural change.
And so while Major League Baseball had been vilified for not allowing blacks to play, when it opened its door, our country followed suit. And it speaks to the reverence that baseball held, and I still believe to a large extent still holds in our society.
Right now, there are 30 teams in Major League Baseball. New teams haven't been introduced in more than 25 years, but the sport is growing.
We're blessed. We have a number of markets, Portland, Las Vegas, Nashville, Charlotte, that are viable, interested.
That's MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred. He's talking about the idea of expanding the league to include 2 more teams. On that potential list, Nashville, Tennessee. Here's Chris Bacon, part of the team working to pave the way for a team in Music City, USA.
And, no matter where you go, Nashville's top of mind because you need the economic growth, you need the population, but also the music and entertainment. That's the missing ingredient that many other markets may not have.
The project is years in the making, and a future ballpark is still a ways out. But the team already has a name, an identity that pays tribute to baseball history and the sport's role in redefining American culture. I'm Bryce Patterson. You're listening to the Crossroads Suncast. An interlocking N and S in black lettering on a white background. The Nashville Star's new logo is simple but timeless. It symbolizes a glimmer of hope for the future and also pays homage to how far our country has come. Bob Kendrick is president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in Kansas City.
In World War II, you had so many young black soldiers dying, fighting the exact same racism in another country that we were being asked to accept here at home. And that created a groundswell of sentiment that essentially said if they can die fighting for their country, why can't they play baseball in this country?
Now, decades later, under the team named the Nashville Stars, the group Music City Baseball is working to be the first MLB franchise to adopt a team name from the Negro Leagues formed during segregation.
The Stars are not just a Nashville thing either. There were the Detroit Stars, the St. Louis Stars, the Philadelphia Stars. So the Stars were in a number of different markets, and it represents all of those teams.
Formed before COVID, Music City Baseball says their purpose is simple: to clear the path for a successful future franchise. Part of that effort? Research.
You put the reports out, and we've done studies to figure out what economic impact would be for an area if a Major League Baseball franchise was here. And so what we've done is we've developed those, and we share those with the league and with the governor if he would want it, or the mayor or any other local officials to share what those impacts would be.
They're also researching a potential home for the team.
Because of what people always ask, where's the ballpark going to go? Where's the ballpark going to go? Well, that's part of what we're supposed to be what we need to be doing is to look and to analyze it. We rank specific sites based on a number of different things: infrastructure, traffic, area, population, all those types of things. And we share that with the league, and we share that with any potential owners and groups, anything like that.
The other piece of the puzzle? Branding and outreach. Getting the word out about who the Stars are and their story.
It's a story that people around the country can relate to, not just a Nashville thing, but people in New York or LA or Wisconsin or New Orleans. That's a name to where once you learn the history and what it means and what it represents, you can be like, I can get behind that. That's something that I could relate to.
Baseball history dates back to the 1800s. In 1887, Major League team owners adopted a secretive gentleman's agreement that said no contracts would be given to black ball players. In 1920, the Negro Leagues were founded.
That was a league that, because there were no black players that were able to play during those times, so they developed a league of their own, and it was not just it was black, it was Hispanic, and there were numerous different cultures that were represented there, women as well.
If you could imagine this, they could ride into a town, fill up the ballpark, but yet not be able to get something to eat from the same fans who had just cheered them, or not have a place to stay. So, yes, they would sleep on the bus and eat their peanut butter and crackers until they could get to a place that might provide them basic services. But as I tell my guests, what you have to admire about this story, they never allowed that set of social circumstances to kill their love of the game. Their spirits were such that if I've got to sleep on the bus and if I've got to eat my peanut butter and crackers, I'm going to keep playing ball.
It would take more than a quarter century to break the color barrier. Kendrick says it took so long because there was so much money involved.
You see, the Negro Leagues were renting many of those Major League Baseball teams' stadiums, and those teams were getting a percentage of the gate and likely all of the concession. And the Negro Leagues, by and large, were outdrawing those Major League teams in their own stadiums. And so they didn't want to lose that source of revenue.
The league did so well that it was impossible to ignore.
You might say that the Negro Leagues were so good that they put themselves out of business.
Once the color barrier was broken, it forever changed baseball and this country.
If you are a fan of American history, you're going to love this story. If you are a fan of the underdog overcoming adversity to go on to greatness, then you're going to love this story.
In the last half of the second inning, Robinson gets the first hit off fourth. It's a homer into the left field stand.
If you don't think that one individual can invoke change, all you have to do is look at Jackie Robinson.
In 1947, 7 years before the Supreme Court's landmark Brown versus Board of Education ruling found segregation in schools unconstitutional, Jackie Robinson becomes the first black player to play in modern Major League Baseball, debuting with the Brooklyn Dodgers.
For black folks, Jackie Robinson's breaking of the color barrier carried the same level of euphoria that we saw collectively as a nation when Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. In many ways, he was our Neil Armstrong.
He faced bigotry and hate from teammates, fans, and opponents alike. That's documented in the 2013 film, 42.
Come on, Leo. Come on, what? Ball players got to live together, shower together. You know, it ain't fair to force them on us like this.
I don't care if he is yellow or black or has stripes like a zebra.
If Robinson can help us win, and everything I have seen says he can, then he is going to play on this ball club. Like it, lump it, make your minds up to it, because he's coming.
As Kendrick describes, there was a lot on the line for Jackie Robinson and black Americans across the country.
Jackie wasn't playing for Jackie. He was literally and figuratively carrying 21 million black folks on his back when he walked across those lines. Because keep in mind, had he failed, an entire race of people would have failed. And that is an enormous amount of pressure for any one man to have to bear. Failure was not an option on either side of the legend. If Jackie can't take the abuse, the experiment is over. If Jackie can't play, the experiment is over.
But he could play. He won the inaugural Rookie of the Year award in 1947. He was an All-Star 6 years in a row. And he became the first black player to win the Most Valuable Player award. But Robinson's impact went far beyond the diamond.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
Jackie Robinson was there when Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his iconic I Have a Dream speech. The two men became close friends, bonding over their dedication to fighting injustice. King once said that Robinson made his success possible, saying, quote, "Without him, I never would have been able to do what I did." In recent years, Major League Baseball has worked to reconnect with the history and legacy of the Negro Leagues. In 1997, Commissioner Bud Selig retired Jackie Robinson's number throughout all levels of professional baseball. It's the first time a player has ever been honored that way.
Very special night for us, for the Giants, for the Cardinals, for all of Major League Baseball. And we are going to actually play a real big league ball game here.
Last June, a regular season game was played at Rickwood Field. That's the oldest professional ballpark in the U.S. It's also the former home of the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro League. A month before that, the league moved to incorporate Negro League statistics, meaning players like Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige were now seated among the greats in the game, like Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb. Kendrick says that opens the opportunity for people to learn more about history.
This should become a portal. It should become a gateway into deeper understanding. You should now want to go out and learn who Josh Gibson was, who was Oscar Charleston, who was Norman Turkey Stern, who was Judd Boo June Wilson. Yeah, that should be that gateway of understanding. And just because you don't know these names, that doesn't mean they couldn't play.
Another way to integrate that history, by reaching the youth. In 2023, the Negro League Baseball Museum partnered with the most popular baseball video game, MLB The Show.
At first base, from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, the legendary Walter Buck Leonard.
Bob Kendrick is the voice behind the Negro Leagues in the game. He says it's opened up a new world of history for people to learn.
Millions upon millions of young people and young adults are now not only learning about the Negro Leagues, but they're falling in love with the Negro Leagues because we put them in that video game. I do think, fellas, there's a misnomer that our children don't care about history. That young people in general don't care about history. But it is just that. It is a misnomer. But it becomes incumbent upon how history is presented to you. And so when we put it in a video game, a mode and medium in which so many young people were accustomed to engaging with, the light bulb clicked.
Adding a team with Negro League ties would be another step forward in merging the legacy of the two leagues into a singular history of the sport. According to a feasibility study done on behalf of Music City Baseball, the economic impact of an MLB team in Nashville would be massive. It would create an estimated $12 billion in new economic output. Bacon says the appeal of Nashville is not just for players. It's fans, too.
When you start looking in the summer, it's like, where am I going to want to go and spend 2 or 3 or 4 days? Nashville would be fun. I can go to the Opry. I can go to the museums. I can hit up a game or two. It's got everything. So it's that whole package that of a market that it has that makes it so targeted, I guess you would say, for potential expansion.
And if you're not into baseball, that's okay too.
It's like, okay, we'll go to the game, but then we're going to go do all the stuff afterwards or beforehand. It becomes a whole day thing rather than just go to the game and come back. So I think for even the non-sports fans, I think it's that entertainment value, and that's part of the job, is to make sure you provide and create that entertainment value for sports fans and non-sports fans alike.
That economic boost goes far beyond Nashville. Bacon is from Southern Illinois and went to Murray State, so he knows this region well.
If you've got a group of people coming from Paducah and you're heading down to Nashville, where are you gonna go? You're gonna probably stop off. You're gonna stop off. We're gonna grab some food there. You might stop off and go to Patty's and grab some food on the way down. You're gonna maybe stop off in Clarksville, gas up, grab a beverage, grab some coffee or whatever on the way to. All those areas down, it benefits from it. I think no matter what, you're on that I-24 corridor. I think it really benefits everybody who lives up and down there.
Bacon says adding a team will help grow both baseball and softball. Part of the Stars' investment would be into youth sports as well.
You have to provide opportunities for kids who may not be exposed to baseball on a regular basis, and that's important. You've seen that with different franchises within Major League Baseball, and Major League Baseball's made it a point to do and utilize those programs to help build the game, and it really does start with the kids.
Getting a team to Nashville is still years down the road. The commissioner of baseball has said the league wants to figure out long-term stadium solutions for other teams, the Athletics and Rays, before expansion is considered. Other cities have expressed interest in getting a team too, places like Orlando, Portland, or Raleigh. We asked Bacon what happens if Nashville does get passed over. He says he hasn't really thought about it.
We wouldn't do this if we didn't believe and had some confidence in it. So I think we've gotten to the points that it's not a matter of if, it's a when, and that's where our brain has been. So I don't know what would happen, but I'm confident we will never have to make that determination down the road.
In the meantime, the work will continue without a definite timeline. One thing's for sure, Nashville or not, it's about furthering America's pastime and preserving history.
It's baseball. It's not trying to steal a fandom or anything like that. It's baseball. It's just we enjoy it, and it's not just baseball, but it's again that story and what it represents.
And what would the original Stars think about the return of that legacy?
I think they would be beaming with pride. Yeah, I do. Even though they knew how special their league was, they didn't really talk about it a lot. No, they didn't talk about it a lot because for them, they were just playing baseball. And their story deserves to stand the test of time. Their legacy should not die when that last Negro Leaguer leaves the face of this earth. We cannot allow that to happen. The Negro Leagues Baseball Museum is here to ensure that that doesn't happen. But when you add an entity like a Major League Baseball team that is such a viable business product that is there in front of fans, and I can see this stadium already in my mind's eye, filled to capacity, game after game after game, as a reminder of baseball's heritage.
This episode, written and reported by senior executive producer Morgan Regal. The Crossroads Suncast is a production of Paxton Media Group, co-produced between the Paducah Sun and WPSD Local 6. If you have a story you'd like us to cover, email us at newstip@wpsdlocal6.com.